Hey, I'm ZombieJohnny. Today we're going to be taking a look at what is arguably the greatest fighting game series of all time. This is Street Fighter. Street Fighter is a fighting game series developed by Capcom and has been released on many different types of arcade machines and pretty much every console known to man. The concept of Street Fighter, if you don't know, is to become the world's greatest fighter. Evildoers set tournaments that span the globe and ask fighters of every walk of life to compete. The evildoers are pretty much absorbing as much information as they can on every fighter to adapt their style and be able to defeat whatever fighter comes their way, and that leads to world domination. Obviously, the fighter that makes it all the way to the end of the tournament is the strongest in the world. And if they're defeated, then that in turn obviously means world domination. And this story is pretty much the same throughout the entire Street Fighter series. The series has a gigantic cast of characters, and the most iconic is Ryu. Ryu is probably one of the most iconic video game characters of all time. I believe he's up there with Sonic, Mario, Solid Snake, and Master Chief. So anyway, let's get on to the real topic of this video. This year I finally got myself an arcade stick for my PS4, and I'm back in the game. Yes, I'm back in the New York groove. The arcade stick that I purchased is the Hori Real Arcade Pro 4 Kai, which is now the 5th arcade stick I've purchased. I had a Kwamba stick, but it died a long time ago. The Kwamba stick was one of my favorites. I was going to buy a Mad Catz stick, but as far as I know, they don't make arcade sticks anymore. And from what I've heard, they're going under, or they already have gone under. I looked online for a TE2 for the PS4, but they are incredibly expensive. I have another Hori stick for the Xbox 360, and I always really liked the stick, so I thought I might as well go for one that's for the PS4. It's also a great price. This new stick that I purchased is also compatible with the PS3, which I really enjoy. Now I have 2 sticks that work for my PS3, so now I can enjoy some of the classic Neo Geo fighting games. Now I can play them with friends. If I only had friends. Now, I'm going to talk about my complete history with the Street Fighter series. From my younger days, all the way to the 30th anniversary collection.
Round 1, fight!
I can always remember renting Street Fighter 2 back in the days of video rental stores. I always played it with my brother, and when he got tired of playing 2-player, I just kept playing through the story mode. And when we took a trip out of town, you better believe that I was searching for an arcade, and the first one I would hit up, of course, was Street Fighter. I would blow all of my quarters or tokens losing at the current Street Fighter arcade game. Every Street Fighter game that came out for the home console, I rented. I loved the Alpha series, and I have fond memories of playing Alpha 3 for the PlayStation. And you know what? For some reason, I never purchased the games. I always just rented them. Then, when Street Fighter 4 came out, I said to myself, I remember playing a lot of Street Fighter 2 as a kid. I'm going to buy a copy of Street Fighter 2, which is kind of a backwards way of thinking, but in the end, I bought a copy of vanilla Street Fighter 4, and I totally fell in love with it. I was playing both games at the same time. I can remember staying awake with my friend Paul, aka Prison Zet. Check out his channel in the link below. Paul and I would stay awake drinking and smoking cigarettes until about 6 in the morning trying to beat Street Fighter 4. Then, shortly after I bought Street Fighter 4, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition came out. This is where my real obsession began. I learned about event hubs and shoryuken.com, which are like the go-to spots for Street Fighter and fighting game related info. Through these websites, I learned about Twitch and watching Street Fighter streams. For Christmas that year, I asked my girlfriend for a fight stick because that's what all the pros played on. It took me some time to get used to playing on the stick, but I wouldn't play it any other way nowadays. Then, my cousin, who I was living with at the time, showed me Evo Moment 37. This is where I learned about the Beast, Daigo Umehara. During this time, they released the Street Fighter 25th Anniversary Collector's Edition box set, which I must say is absolutely amazing. It came with all the games except Street Fighter 1. One of the most important pieces is that it came with all of the video game soundtracks. With the release of the 25th anniversary, this introduced me to Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. This changed my whole obsession with Street Fighter, because this game was so unique and so different. After that, my friends and I would be switching between online matches of 3 and 4. After that, I was dedicated for about 4 years, and I went to EVO 2015. And that was an amazing experience, and I had the chance to meet the man himself, Mr. Umehara. Of course, he doesn't speak much English, but it was nice to actually introduce myself and say hello. Some of my greatest memories before I became a dad was when I was with my friends, Dwayne, Matt, Luke, Sean, Jesse, and Paul, and we were dedicated to the game for a couple of years, and we played almost every weekend. When we weren't playing the game, we were talking about the game, catching every live stream, and of course sitting in my living room screaming on the couch, watching EVO. The house that I lived in at the time was the gathering place, and we would constantly be huddled around the TV jamming games and playing hundreds upon hundreds of rounds. We dubbed that house the dojo. Then I kind of closed that book in my life. for some time. Of course, when they announced Street Fighter V, I was ecstatic. I went and picked it up on the day it was released, and I started playing it, and it was not good. There was absolutely no content and hardly any characters. And to this day, there's not a whole lot of content. Capcom released an unfinished game, rushed it onto shelves for the fighting game tournament circuit, and expected people to pay full price for a game that didn't even have an arcade mode. So instead of releasing 12 versions of the game, like with every other Street Fighter game they've made, they decided to do season passes. Each year, they introduce new characters and new stages. I still have my issues with paying $30 for 4 characters every year. Overall, to purchase all the content and characters in the game, it would cost you well over $200. Then, they went back on the word, which is not surprising, and they released Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Why? I have no idea, but it makes people buy the game all over again, so you might as well, right? The fans of the game. Just make them pay more. And you know what? I did, which means everybody did. 2 years after the game's release, and I finally started getting back into it. The game grew on me again, but not without some coaxing and convincing from my friends to play it. The streams are now just getting interesting to watch. The game is now more interesting to play because it has many more characters at this time, but what really rekindled my passion for Street Fighter was the announcement of the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition. And, of course, I had to buy it. It seriously got me excited for Street Fighter once again. One of the main reasons is because it has Third Strike, and like every version of Street Fighter 2. Because why not, right? It also comes with Street Fighter 1, and this was my first time playing it. This game is so damn hard, it's unreal, but it's really interesting to see where the series all started. It's so archaic, but I can see where the inspiration came from while they developed Street Fighter 2. The 30th Anniversary Collection is a really awesome collection. It has a complete history of Street Fighter spanning from 1987 all the way to 2017. Each year there was a Street Fighter release. They include a bio and a gallery and cast of characters and promotional pieces as well. It also contains a complete music library, which is truly one of my favorite parts about Street Fighter. It is really nice, but I already own the 25th Anniversary Collector's Edition. It comes with the complete soundtrack, even including Street Fighter X Tekken. Overall, the 25th Anniversary Collection is much more impressive than the 30th Anniversary. The 25th Anniversary set comes with some very special things. The collection comes with the download codes for Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max, Third Strike, Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, Street Fighter X Tekken, a beautiful Ryu statue that lights up, Ryu's Obi or martial arts belt, an amazing documentary, and a fan art book. It's all topped off by a really nice box, and I'm a huge sucker for packaging. Yep, all that for the 25th anniversary and just one disc for the 30th. But I really feel that the 25th anniversary of anything is a really huge milestone. The 30th anniversary is important, but maybe not as special. Now imagine in 10 years, it's going to be the 40th anniversary. Now, does the 40th anniversary of anything sound as special as the 25th or the 50th? Anyway, it's just my silly opinion and I really don't know where I'm going with this, but the 25th anniversary is totally worth it. And if you can find it somewhere, I suggest you get it. The games are outdated, but the physical content alone is worth the price. Anyway, with EVO 2018 ending just recently and Problem X taking a win over Tokido in Street Fighter V, it makes me more excited for Street Fighter again. Every year around EVO, I always get excited for Street Fighter anyway, and I'm sure next year I'll even be more excited. More characters, Street Fighter V is getting balanced, and it's becoming a better game. It's rekindling my love for Street Fighter. It's like being reunited with an old friend. It's really good, but we need to have a few beers and catch up.